two Renko charts here, so it's a multi-timeframe type of question. And so the setup here is we're looking for price to break the Bollinger Band, like as we see here. But also we're looking for this Traders Dynamic Index indicator, or TDI, some people might use for short. We're also looking for this Traders Dynamic Index to break its Bollinger Band, right? So we can see that I have a lot of plots turned off. So this indicator has quite a few plots, and I have them all turned off, except you can see the bands, right? So there's Bollinger Bands built into this indicator, and the green line that you see is the PL line. Let's see let me see what PL stands for again. So this is a bit of a new indicator for me. Oh, price line. Yeah, so I have the price line. The price line is what's being used here. All right, and so when price breaks the Bollinger Band, we're also looking for the price line to break the Bollinger Band on this TDI indicator. So let's see if we can find that. Yeah, here we go. Now this isn't an exact example here, but we are looking for both indicators to break the bands. Now, in this particular spot, this is actually invalid because price had broke the Bollinger Band for too many bars. So we only want a limited breakthrough before price reverses out of it. So actually this is invalid due to price basically breaking through the Bollinger for too many bars. So that's actually isn't a valid example here. Okay, here would be a better example. All right, so only a limited number of bars are allowed to break the Bollinger Band, and I think something like 5 bars are allowed to break. And then we also want, right, the TDI, the price line indicator, to break the TDI indicator, we want the price line to break its Bollinger Band, so as well. And so on the higher time frame, this is what we're looking for, and more precisely, we're looking for this reversal bar. So, and then we're looking for the same correlating spot here. Let's see here. Let's put this on global, and let's see if we can find that spot. Where did that go? Okay. So, excuse me. We're also looking for price to have broken. So on this lower time frame chart, we're looking for price to break its Bollinger Band as well, and then we're waiting for the reversal bar. So we don't actually have a setup here. So let me see if I can find an actual setup here, a spot that we can work with. Seems like this might be a little tough to find one of these. Oh, well, I guess it helps if I'm using the same instrument. Okay. There. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, it looks like we actually might have a setup here. Let me turn the auto scale off for the Bollinger to help. Yeah, it does look like this Renko bar did break the Bollinger, right, on the lower time frame Renko chart. So I think we do have a breakout here. And then on the TDI indicator, we can see the price line did break its band. And also we can see on the higher time frame, we had one, maybe two bars had broken that Bollinger Band. It's kind of hard to tell if this bar right here broke it. Let's kind of expand that out a little bit. Let's see. No, that bar didn't break the Bollinger, but we did get at least one bar breaking it. And also we can see the TDI indicator broke out as well, right? So we have a synchronization between the two bars here. So the kind of the key to getting this to work is getting these two Renko bars or two Renko charts to synchronize, right? Now, it's very likely that this reversal bar on the lower time frame chart is going to reverse first, although it actually so happens that, if you look at my cursor, that actually both reversal bars where my cursor is sitting at, they do actually close at the same price. So, but that may not always be the case, because this higher time frame chart is using, a slightly different settings for its Renko bar. So again, the key is going to be to learn some techniques that will help allow these two charts to get a signal if the lower time frame chart reverses first. So specifically this lower Renko chart, its reversal bar might close one tick before the higher time frame chart, right? Because of the settings, this higher time frame chart might take an extra tick before that reversal bar closes. Actually, now that I just realized it, no, it's going to actually, I think it, I'm not sure. It depends on the logic of the Unirenko bar, but it might take the higher time frame bar 2 extra ticks. Maybe not, but in any case, again, the point being is that the lower time frame chart, its reversal bar might close 1 tick sooner than the higher one, right? And so getting that signal, basically what the customer wants to allow is that if the lower time frame chart, if its reversal bar closes first, that's actually okay, as long as the higher time frame reversal bar is within 1 tick of closing. So the higher time frame reversal bar doesn't have to quite be closed yet. It can be within 1 tick of being closed here. Okay, yeah, so that is our first question up for today. All right, so let's get BloodHound open and start working. All right, so let's see. First thing, let's put in today's BloodHound workshop name. All right, so 28th, last day of March today. All right, yep, there's today's date. Let's get that in there. And all right, so I'm going to start working on the logic tab here, so I can start working on the logic board. And let's create a new logic template here using the new button. And let me kind of come up with some kind of name for this. Let's see. All right, how about something like a Bollinger breakout and a TDI breakout. There we go. And multi-timeframe. Also another thing that's going to be key is that we need to have BloodHound running we need to have the calculate mode set to on price change there. All right, so there we go. We got a logic template name for this question here. And so before I get going too far, let me change BloodHound's settings here. So as I mentioned, for BloodHound, we need to find the calculate parameter and change it from on bar close to on price change. So we don't need on each tick. That's just going to be excessive, unnecessary CPU processing, we only need really on price changed. So pretty much kind of like a universal answer for why you would ever want to use on each tick. And that's if you're using some type of volume footprint type of indicator. Any indicator that needs to use like bid and ask volume data to calculate something like a cumulative delta type of volume, or or volume profile, or any basically any kind of general volume footprint type of indicator requires on each tick. But basically anything other than that, then you should always be able to just use on price change. So, and that will minimize the necessary CPU processing time. So, all right, so now we got that changed. Let's adjust that. And all right, yeah, so let's start building here. We'll get BloodHound back open again. All right, so I'm going to start building the higher time frame solvers first here. And let's see, let me get Blackbird back open, or BloodHound back open again. There we go. All right, so let's add a new chart time frame here. All right, so I'm going to use the chart button there, and then let's go in and set up this higher time frame. All right, so we're using the Unirenko, and let's see, we're using settings of 2, 2, and 6. All right, so there we go. And let's see here. So what should we take a look at first? I guess let's detect price breaking above the Bollinger Band or below the Bollinger Band. So to do that, we're going to need a comparison solver. Right? So we're going to compare price to the upper and lower Bollinger Band. So let's add that. Right? And you can see that this comparison solver is added below this chart time frame here. All right, so let's see, what are we comparing here? Let's give this a name. So we're comparing price to the Bollinger. All right, so let's see, input A, let's set this to price. And in our case, we're just looking to see if the closing price of the bar, right, breaks the Bollinger Band. So we'll leave the closing price there. And then input B, our second input, that'll be the Bollinger Band. So let's go plug that in. All right, so there's the Bollinger. Let's add that. And, let's see here. Yeah, you know what? On the chart, I guess I have some defaults set for my Bollinger Band on the chart of 34. Let's see here. I think this does need a higher, well, let's see here. I guess I'll just adjust my BloodHound to match the defaults that I had on my chart here. All right, upper and lower band. All right, so let's see here. Actually, we want to use the upper band to generate a short signal, and if price crosses the lower band, that's going to be used to generate a long signal here. Right? So let's reverse those settings. All right, click OK. And let's see, what also we need to do is, let's see, yeah, we need to reverse our outputs here as well. So, right, so again, if price is breaking the upper band, right, when we get that reversal down, that's when we're looking for a short signal. So, all right, so if we take a look at the outputs here, so for a short output, we're looking for A to be greater than B, right? And what's A? Remember, A is price, needs to be greater than the Bollinger Band. So we need to reverse our short outputs like that. And then the long outputs are going to be opposite as well. So, all right. Let's see. So let's see. Do we have any outputs yet? Oh, no, of course not. All right. So we're not seeing any outputs on our chart yet because if you see the little message down below, BloodHound needs the chart to be refreshed so that this higher time frame data can get loaded up by NinjaTrader. Right. So let's hit F5 on the chart and refresh it. All right. And let's see if we're getting, we're not getting an output here yet. Let's see, I'm going to make a copy of this solver here, and I'm going to move it up into the default time frame. There. And, oh, of course, I'm sorry. I was so focused on getting this other time frame chart that I didn't realize that I'm just working on the solver tab here, which I rarely do. So I need to put these solvers on the logic board here, right? So I'm not getting any output because I have a logic template created, right? So as soon as you create your first logic template, then you won't get any output until something is connected to the result node, right? So the result node takes over once a logic template has been created, right? And of course, I've just been focused on setting up these solvers here on the solver tab. So I now need to get those solvers on the logic board. So what we can do is go to the solver nodes here, and we're going to go to existing nodes. And let's put the default time frame one on first, right? So let me take a moment to explain. The default time frame is always the chart that BloodHound's running on, right? So BloodHound is running on our lower Unirenko chart, right? So that's what the default time frame is, and then of course the other time frames are whatever they are, whatever they are. So that's always pretty straightforward. But the default time frame, it will always change to whatever the chart is that BloodHound's running on, right? So if I change this oil chart to a 1 minute, well then the default time frame changes to a 1 minute chart, right? So the default, simply put, the default time frame always matches the chart that BloodHound's running on. Okay, so let's see, let's connect that in here. So this is our solver from the default time frame, and sure enough, there we go. There's our little signal when price broke the upper band. And let's add our higher time frame solver on here as well. And let's see. Well, yeah, it doesn't look like, well, it doesn't look like the chart's synchronized for us. Yeah, so that's another thing. Let's see, if we look at the timestamp here on the higher time frame, let's see here. So we're at 9:23, 22 seconds, and 170 milliseconds. So 2270. And let's see, what do we have on the lower time frame? And well, good. We got the same timestamp. That's good. Let me refresh the chart one more time. Oh, there we go. Okay, we just needed one extra chart refresh there. Okay, so now we're getting all the signals. So let's take a look here. Yeah, if we look at this green signal, and then if we look at the chart on the left, right, we can see that the Renko bar broke the lower band. And if I check this other green signal, yeah, again, the chart on the left, price had just barely broken the lower Bollinger Band again. So there we go. Perfect. All right, so let's move those up there. All right. Now, so the next thing we need is to get a inflection solver to look for the reversal bars, right? We need to identify these reversal bars. So I'm going to go to my solver nodes menu, and you'll notice that there's 2 time frames to choose from. So let me go the higher time frame first and grab a inflection solver. Add that on there. And let's see, let's take a look. Yeah, so this is kind of illustrating here that there might be different timestamps. So let me check the timestamps again. So let's see, we got 25/20/906, 25/20/906. All right, good. We do have the same timestamp on those. Well, let me try and refresh the chart again. All right, well, yeah, it looks like things are out of phase a little bit here. I am running the latest version. That's good. Let's see. Yeah, we're not using a oh, sorry about that. I guess I'm still a little off after my cold here, because I'm not following through here. So I didn't finish adjusting this solver here, so that makes total sense here. All right, so we want this to be a price inflection. So let's finish setting up this solver here. All right, so we want our input to be price. So yeah, all right, there we go. And it looks like I might need to refresh the chart one more time. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right, now everything's synchronizing. Let's see, this might be an opportunity to explain the syncing issue with Renko charts. Let's see, 2810. Here's a classic example here. So you see this reversal up bar here, and let's see, let me grab an arrow. So if we look at that reversal up bar, and then if we look on the lower time frame, we get the signal one bar late. Well, if we look at the timestamp, this bar has a timestamp of 10 seconds and 415 milliseconds. If we look at the timestamp on this, it's 8 seconds, 8 seconds versus 10 seconds. So this reversal bar occurred about 1.5 seconds before the higher time frame bar reversed. So we can see that these 2 reversal bars do not synchronize. They don't have the same timestamp. So that's kind of like the bigger point to this today's example here. How to how can we kind of compensate for these reversal bars not synchronizing? So and so the first thing that we needed to, well, no, let me catch myself. So actually, now let me point out that when I took BloodHound and I adjusted the calculate mode, that's not going to help with synchronizing Renko charts, because a different timestamp is a different timestamp. So the calculate mode, all that's helping with is that remember the reversal bar on the higher time frame, it doesn't have to fully reverse yet. We just need that reversal bar on the higher time frame to be like within one tick of reversing. All right, so that's what the calculate mode will help with. Yeah, so like back to this example here, right? Our lower time frame reversal bar, it would have closed first, but but having the calculate mode set to on price change means that we can look at this reversal bar as it's almost finished reversing, and so we can check this reversal bar and see, we can analyze it and see, are you almost finished reversing, and check that. So that's the purpose of adjusting the calculate mode. All right. So yeah, this is definitely there's some technical components that need to be fully understood when you're working with multiple Renko charts. So all right, so let's get BloodHound back open and continue our work here. So let's finish joining these two solvers together here. So all right, so we have the here, I guess, let me just work. I'm going to work on the lower time frame here first. Right, so we have this breakout, and we need to take this signal and push it forward onto the reversal bar. Right, so we're going to use a look back node to do that. So if we look at the look back node, here we go. Now we can see that our signal is now right on the reversal bar. Right, so the breakout signal got pushed forward onto the reversal bar. And this look back node, what we're using is the displacement function here. Right, so this displacement set to 1 is what's displacing the signal forward 1 extra bar. And so now I can grab a inflection solver, and let's get this set up here. All right, so let's go. So we want a price inflection. Let's change the input to price, and there we go. So there, so we can see the short output on that reversal bar. Right, so now we can go back to our logic and grab an AND node, connect those together, and there we go. So that's kind of so that's one of the components of this. So we're going to see signals now when price breaks the Bollinger Band and then reverses. All right, I'm looking for a specific situation here. Now part of the rules here was to make sure that we didn't have too many bars breaking out of the Bollinger Band. And actually, let me double check the rules here. So, the number of bars that's allowed to break the Bollinger Band, I'm just double checking to see if that only applies to the higher time frame or if it also applies to the lower time frame. So just give me a moment here. All right, no, I don't see any mention that the higher time frame has the same kind of limited number of bars breaking the band. So all right, so it looks like only the higher time frame chart has a limited number of bars, right, that's allowed to break the band. All right. Yeah, so we're looking for something like 5 or less bars are allowed to break the band. Yeah, so here's an example. So this would be disqualified because we had quite a few bars breaking above the upper band, right? So yeah, so this would be disqualified here. Yeah, so let's take a look at this, at creating this kind of requirement here of limiting the number of bars here. All right, so let's see. Well, actually, first, hold on. Before we get there, let's finish setting up the higher time frame logic here. So I simply just need another look back here. And again, we're using its displacement function, right? Again, so we're taking the breakout signal and extending it forward 1 bar so that our inflection, so that basically the signal from the breakout, right, from this kind of breakout solver and the inflection solver, so they synchronize. That's why we need this look back. And put them both into an AND node like that. All right. So there we go. So we have our matching logic. All right. So now, but now the higher time frame logic is going to differ because we are going to look. Let's see, where did that go? There we go. Yeah, we're going to look to make sure that the higher time frame chart didn't have too many bars breaking out. So let's see what. All right, just trying to think of what solver what function node would best address that. Well, I think we're going to have to go with the signal counter on this one. Yeah. So we can see I've got what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at our breakout logic here from the higher time frame. So let's find that on the chart. Oh, there we go. I think I passed it here. Yeah. All right. So it's this run here. And all right, I guess I need to refresh the chart. There we go. The interesting thing to solve here is that, right, when we are working on, BloodHound is operating on the lower time frame here. And also function nodes only operate on the default time frame. Right? So function nodes can't be moved over to a different time frame, right? So in other words, we can't put function nodes on a higher time frame, right? They always operate on the default time frame. And so what I'm seeing, right, from the chart here is that basically we get a different number. Yeah, we get a different number of signals on the bars here, as opposed to what's actually happening on the higher time frame chart here, right? So yeah, so I think just doing some math in my head, I think what we're going to get is that for every typically for every 1 bar on the higher time frame, because of the Unirenko settings, we're going to get 2 bars on the lower time frame chart, right, or on our default chart. So yeah, for example, right, on the higher time frame chart, if we look at this little 2 bar pullback here, right, well, on the lower time frame we actually get 4 bars. Yeah, so we have about a 2-to-1 ratio. Yeah, and if we check this single reversal up bar on the lower time frame chart, let's grab an arrow here. You know, we do get the reversal bar, but sometimes we might get an extra continuation bar, I guess we could say. You know, it just kind of depends, right? So, yeah, we can see that this reversal bar has a long wick. So we were able to get 2 continuation bars after the reversal. Well, let's see. Let's check this little down bar run here. So we got, you know, 4 bars, 3 continuation bars, and on the lower time frame chart, let's see. So we have 8 bars here. So yeah, again, it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. All right. So in order to count the number of higher time frame bars here that broke above the band, I'm just going to go with a 2-to-1 ratio of these short signals that we're getting. All right. So remember, these short signals that we're getting are coming from our higher time frame comparison solver, right? That's looking for these breakout bars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count them. I'm going to use the signal counter to count them. And let's see here. So we want to count 10 bars. So let's say if we get 10, if we get 10 signal bars, 10 bars with a signal on them, right, on the lower time frame chart, then that's going to approximate 5 or more higher time frame bars. So let's see here. I'm looking for 10 signals out of the last 10 bars. And let's see, output mode, I'm going to set that to digital. That's what most people use. And yeah, let's take a look here. All right, so we're looking at the signal counter. And so there we go. If we use our cursor, let's see, I'm using my cursor on the right chart to count bars on the left chart. So let's see, so that's our first bar. I believe that's our first bar on the higher time frame chart that breaks above the band. So that's bar 1. That's bar 2. Let's see. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we get to 6. Yeah, right. Okay. Oh, and remember, well, actually, let's do this here. I had a little bit of a syncing issue with my cursors because I had the signal blocker connected into this little displacement. So let's connect it directly into the comparison solver. So there we go. All right, yeah, so immediately, so as soon as the fifth bar on our higher time frame chart, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 5. So there's our 5th bar there. Yeah, so as soon as that 5th bar closed, yeah, we got the signal counter, identified that we had that 5th bar on the higher time frame chart. And so we get this output here from the signal counter telling us that, oh, we had too many breakout bars on the higher time frame chart. Right. So that's kind of what this signal counter is doing, is it's identifying when there's too many breakout bars on the higher time frame. And so we now need to use this output here to basically block the higher time frame signals coming out. So let's see here. How can we do that? I do believe an XOR node is what we want. And I'm going to have to refresh my chart again. Okay, there we go. So there's our signal from the higher time frame. And let's see if it synchronizes. Yeah, so if we look at our signal counter, we do need to extend the signal counter forward an extra bar onto the reversal, right? So we need to get the signal counter's output synchronized to our AND node, right? So if you look at where the white arrow is, right, the signal counter doesn't have an output on that bar, but our AND node does. So we're going to grab another look back. Well, actually, nah, let me see. Let me just kind of go back. I'm just going to take our look back that we already have in place, and this should work just fine. There. All right. Yeah, so now we can see we have a short output on the reversal bar. All right. So if we connect our AND node into the XOR, there, we're going to get the signal, but now if we connect the signal counter into the XOR, it disappears. Yeah, there we go. It disappears. And I'm kind of concerned that it's only disappearing on the reversal bar. So let's see. Sometimes using that XOR logic is just fine, but yeah, I'm a little concerned that these earlier signals here, since they stop at the last minute, and that might, because we're trying to synchronize Renko charts, this might become problematic. So I'm going to take a different approach here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert the signal counter. Let's see here. Yeah, everything is turned on for the inverter. So yeah, we're just using the inverter the way it is. And so if we look right at all these, if we look at the green background bars, right? Well, if we look down at BloodHound, what we see is that there's no short output, right? So this absence of a short output, I can now take that and plug it into the AND node, right? So if we take a look at our AND node now, right, there's our, right, breakout and reversal signal. But then if we take the inverter and plug it in, now it disappears, right? It disappears because with the AND node, right, what's coming out of this inverter is there is no short output. So the absence of the short output basically is what kills the signal there. So yeah, so I think this is going to be a safer route to take here. All right, so that's another requirement taken care of, right? So making sure the higher time frame doesn't have too many breakout bars. All right, so now we can take, let's see, we can take this. Let's see here. We still need to put in, we need to factor in our TDI indicator here, right? We need to make sure that this TDI indicator is breaking out of the Bollinger band, its Bollinger band, on all of these breakout and reversal signals or conditions, right? So, all right, so let's address that here. Basically looking at this TDI indicator, looking at the price line breaking the Bollinger, it's the same concept as this comparison solver that we used here, right? So let's grab another comparison solver. So I'm gonna build the solver for the default time frame first, or the lower time frame. Let's see. So let's grab a comparison solver. There we go. Let's connect that into our result. All right, so what are we looking for? We're looking for the TDI's price line, basically to break above break one of the band lines, basically. So let's see, input A, that's going to be the price line, the TDI's price line. So let's see, it's way down on the list here. There we go, Traders Dynamic Index, and I'm just using the default settings here. And let's see, we want the price line plot. So that's the first plot there, already selected for us. Great. Next, input B, well, that needs to be the upper and lower bands, right, of the TDI. So let's go into our lizard indicators again and select that TDI indicator. There we go. All right, so again, I'm just using the default indicator settings. Now this time we want to use the upper and lower Bollinger Bands. So so using the same concept as looking for price to break the Bollinger Band, we're going to use the upper band to generate a short signal. The lower band is going to generate long signals. All right, and again, we're trying to get signals in the opposite direction, right? So in other words, when the PL breaks the upper band, that's typically something upper is indicative of long, but we're using this we're trying to get opposite signals out of this, so we need to reverse the outputs on this comparison solver as well. Yeah, so there we go. So, right, when the PL line breaks that lower band, we're getting a long output here. And yeah, there we go. So, so there, when we get the PL breaking the upper band, we're getting short outputs. All right, and again, we need to take these outputs and shift them forward one bar or maybe two onto the reversal bar. Yeah, so actually I can see in this example, I need to push them forward 2 bars. Yeah, possibly 2 bars. So what I'm going to do is grab another look back node. I'm going to use a displacement of 1, but I'm also going to use a look back of 2, and the mode is max. So, there we go. So we can see that I now have basically a TDI signal on that reversal bar. But if we look at the TDI indicator down here, we can see that the TDI definitely, on that reversal bar, the TDI is not above its band anymore, but it was, a bar back. So, and that's okay. Let's see. Actually, I'm just kind of looking at the instructions for this question, And actually, yeah, so this look back should only have a look back of 1. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. So we only want to allow the TDI indicator 1 extra bar. So oh, let's see here. Actually, interesting. Okay. Yeah. So actually, on this bar right here, yeah, the TDI did cross down below the upper band. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So we just need a look back here with a displacement of 1 and also a look back of 1. So again, we're just using this look back to do a simple displacement, right? To shift the signals forward onto the reversal bar. All right, so there's our TDI logic for the lower time frame. And so let's stick that into our AND node. And let's see if we actually get any signals anywhere. And, oh, yeah, here we go. Good, so there we go. So, yeah, if we look at this last up bar, right, it's above the upper Bollinger Band, and the TDI indicator, right, the PL line is also above the band, and then we get our reversal bar afterwards, and there's our signal. Okay. All right, so we just need to take these nodes here and duplicate them for the higher time frame. So what I'm going to do is take a little shortcut. So there's our TDI indicator, right, and solver. I'm going to make a copy of it and then move it down onto the higher time frame. Okay, so now back to our logic board. So now I can go to the solver nodes, go to existing nodes, go to the higher time frame, and there's our TDI indicator and comparison solver. So let's put that down here. And again, we'll need a look back node. So, but this look back node definitely will need a look back period of 2 here. All right, because remember, sometimes it takes an extra bar or 2, you know, for the lower time frame. Yeah, on the lower time frame from the higher time frame. So let's see, look back. So this is doing a displacement of 1, but a look back of 2. All right, and the mode, again, set that mode to max there. All right, let's see what we get. And yeah, so we need to find, so I'm going to use the my right chart to scroll the left chart. Oh, and actually we got a signal right here. Okay, great. Yeah, if we look at the right chart, all the conditions, right, for the higher time frame are met. So we have our TDI, right, did break above the upper band. We only have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have only 4 bars that broke above the upper band, and then we got the reversal, and great. And so we got the signal, yeah, the signal here. All right, so we know that's working. Okay, so now to tie the 2 time frames together, right? It's tying the logic of the 2 time frames together. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking to myself about all of these other displacement nodes here. So, all right. So now this system is wanted to function as if the calculate mode is set to on bar close, right? So in other words, you know, we want the actual trade signal to occur when the bar closes, right, for the lower time frame. But so now the question is, well, if the question is that BloodHound is running with calculate on price change, right? So therefore, we'll get signals before the bar closes. So how do we mitigate that? Well, the simple workaround is to use a look back node. And basically the displacement function is the workaround, right? So what the displacement is doing is that even though BloodHound's running in real time, right, what the displacement's doing is that, all right, come on. Why won't the escape key work? There we go. All right, let me escape out of that draw mode. Okay, so let's say, if this is what was operating in real time, as this bar is building in real time, remember the displacement it's taking the closed bar and projecting it forward onto the bar that's currently building. So, right, so this displacement looking back looking back one bar, well, that bar that's looking back on is closed. So that's how you do that, right? So what happens in real time is that as soon as this bar closes, right, the next bar opens, and therefore you get a signal immediately. So, effectively you're getting a signal at the same time. So even though you're not seeing the signal you won't see the signal on the reversal bar, but in reality, if BloodHound or if your indicators are running with calculate on bar close, well, that bar has to close first, and then you get the signal, right? So, it looks like, so you are seeing the signal, on the bar that's closed, but in reality, you're not getting the signal until after the bar closes and the next bar opens. So when we use this displacement function to kind of mimic on bar close functionality, right, when BloodHound's running in real time, what's going to happen is that you're going to see, here we go. Let's go back to this. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see the signal one bar late on historical charts, but the reality is that, remember, this system is running in real time. So when does this signal show up? Well, it doesn't show up when the bar closes. This signal shows up when the previous bar closes. So this signal actually shows up immediately as soon as this bar opens, right? Which is the same time as this bar closing. But you're just seeing the signal displaced. Historically, you're going to see the signals displaced one bar. But when the system runs in real time, you're going to get the signals at the same time. So, so this is basically one of the side effects of trying to synchronize Renko charts with different time frames, trying to synchronize them. Well, you have to run BloodHound. You have to run your system in real time, and then, but to get the signals to operate as if you're waiting for the bar to close, as if you're running in on bar close, the side effect is that you see the signals 1 bar late historically. But if you watch this in real time, this short signal would occur immediately. Boom. As soon as that reversal bar closed, bingo, you'll see the signal immediately, right? And so, so therefore you could either get Raven or Blackbird to also fire off, an entry order immediately. So, so it is, in practical terms, the timing is all the same, even though you're seeing the signals look like they're 1 bar late. But again, you just got to remember that this is running in real time. So this signal that we're seeing a bar late, it looks like it's a bar late, but actually it comes as soon as the bar opens, right? Which is the same timing function as the reversal bar closing. All right, so let's see. Okay, so this lower time frame logic, there we go. That's ready to go. So let's see here. Let's just go lower time frame signal, or really condition. It's it's not the actual full blown signal, but let's see here. All right, so the lower time frame's ready, and so now we just need to do. We need to take one last look at the higher time frame. So we need to make one more adjustment here to our higher time frame logic, because if you simply just take an AND node and connect it all up, it's not always going to work, because going back to what was pointed out earlier. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is actually. No, this actually wasn't a signal, because our TDI indicator came down to. Oh wait, did it? No, it didn't. Okay, yeah. So I think this actually is a actual trade signal here, because we got the higher time frame. Yeah, broke its bands. The TDI set up. Yeah, the higher time frame had a setup, and the lower time frame had a setup. So again, well, the last thing we need to address is reversal bars on both time frames not synchronizing exactly. So let me check this timestamps. Actually, yeah, these timestamps do actually synchronize. So this one actually works out okay. Yeah, let's get BloodHound here. There. And let's see, I might need to refresh the chart. Let's see. Well, yeah, it looks like something's not happening here. All right, so let's take a look and kind of debug our system here. Okay, so we know. Oh, I think sorry, I see the problem here. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I had put this look back node in the, I had connected it to the lower time frame to illustrate my point, but the finished logic needs to have this look back node connected to the final or the last AND node there. Let's see here. Let me just rename this this look back node real quick. There we go. Okay. All right. So here's kind of another little trick here. So if we're looking at the stores, if we're looking at the signals historically, and we want to see them kind of like looking visually correct, then we can take we can take the result node and tie it into the AND node. And there, we can see, bingo, we've got our signal, appearing on the correct bar. But when you're running the system in real time, you actually need to connect the lookback node to it, right? So maybe I should actually rename this lookback node to, real time. There. All right. There we go. So we got, if we want to analyze historically, we can connect to the AND node, to see the signals correctly historically. But if we're running the system in real time, then we need to connect to the lookback node. And of course, historically, it's not going to look correct. But again, in real time, this signal is going to happen immediately after this bar closes and the next bar opens, so it's the same timing event, but the signal just looks like it's late, but it's not. It's not late because it's running in real time. It's not waiting for the bar to close. So, all right. So let's see. With that, let me try and find a signal here. Let me try and find a signal where the reversal bars don't synchronize up here. It doesn't look like you get that many signals out of this system, would be my guess. Oh, here we go. Maybe something here might work out. Let me check the timing on these reversal bars. And, well, actually, no, the timing, the time does synchronize. So that's not a good example. That lower time frame isn't set up correctly. All right, here's another possibility. Let's see. So hopefully these aren't going to synchronize. 32,687. And those synchronize as well. Well, maybe the synchronization issue isn't that big of a deal. But it should occur, sometimes. I would assume that that the timestamps on these reversal bars would have been different, quite often different more than not. But those synchronize as well. Those synchronize as well. And I'm at the end of my chart data. All right, let's add some more chart data here. All right, let's see. There we go. That's where we were at previously. My little blue line here. Here. All right, so here's another spot to check. Okay, 33,791. And those synchronize as well. I might just have to fudge something here to make the force force the situation to happen. So I can build the logic here. Those reversal bars synchronize as well. Well, I am not having much luck, am I? All right, here we go. At least I've got something to work with here. I'm just gonna have to fudge some of the logic here. So, as we can see, our lower time frame definitely doesn't set up correctly. But, at least the higher time frame does set up correctly. So I'll just have to fudge some of the logic for the lower time frame just to kind of force force a signal to happen, right? And so again, what I'm looking for is these reversal bars that won't synchronize. Yeah, okay, perfect. So if you look at the horizontal line of the cursor, right, I have it placed at the closing price of the reversal bar on the lower time frame. So the lower time reversal bar, right, the closing price is where my horizontal line is. Now, if you look at the chart on the left, if you look at the reversal bar where my cursor is, right, we can see that that reversal bar where the horizontal cursor is, we still have one tick left before that reversal bar closes, right? And so that's the synchronizing issue, you know, that this customer is having, and the reason why he brought the question to, you know, for today's workshop, you know, is how do we overcome this issue where sometimes these reversal bars don't reverse at the exact same price, right? So the higher time frame chart, its reversal bar might be one tick away from actually closing, you know. So the lower, you know, I guess another way of saying it, right, is the lower time frame chart, its reversal bar will have finished closing, but the higher time frame reversal bar, it might be one tick away from closing, and so therefore you wouldn't get a signal. So, but you know, we want to, but he still wants to allow the signal to go through, you know, even though that reversal bar on the higher time frame is still has one tick left before it closes. So, yeah. So let's see. I think the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to use a comparison solver here. So let me stretch this open. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the length between the two bars here. All right, so I'm going to set up a comparison solver, and it's going to look at the closing price, right, of one bar back, and then it's also going to look, let's see, let's copy this. Then it's also going to look to see, now remember, this is all going to be running in real time. So the solver is going to be looking at the price, you know, where's the closing price, or where's the, you know, the real-time market price of this reversal bar, you know, at the time that this reversal bar closes, right? So this reversal bar on the lower time frame closes, and so we're going to have the higher time frame. I have a comparison solver check this distance between these two prices, right? So as long as this reversal bar has come down long enough, far enough, then we know that, you know, that this higher time frame reversal bar is one tick away from closing, right? And so we're just going to have to do some math to calculate what this distance should be, you know, according to the Renko chart settings, right? So if you go in and adjust your Renko chart settings between the two, you know, then this distance will have to be recalculated, right? And the solver will have to be adjusted if you go in and change our chart timeframes here. Yeah, so let's take a look at what is this distance. So I think it should only be 5 ticks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you look at the simple, really you can just kind of tell by looking at the bar settings, right? So we know on the higher time frame we have a tick reversal set to 6, and so if we know that this reversal bar is going to be 1 tick away, well, then we should have a distance that's 1 tick less than our reversal, our tick reversal setting, right, of 6. So it should be 5 ticks. All right, so this distance should be 5 ticks if our reversal is going to be set to 6. So it's just going to be 1 less here. So, all right, so let's set this solver up then. Let's go to our logic. So what we're kind of circumventing, or what we're allowing to be fudged, is this inflection solver, right? Because remember, this inflection solver is what detects the reversal bar, right? But if everything's happening in real time, and let's see, we need to make some adjustments for the real time. Thinking here for a moment of how this actually is all going to play out in real time. All right, well, I'll get back to this in a moment here. Yeah, so back to this inflection solver. I'm just trying to think of a good way to explain this here. Yeah, I guess simply put, the inflection solver, will detect a reversal bar after it's closed. But of course, this system is running in real time. So actually, this inflection solver will detect this reversal bar, as soon as it prints down, right? As soon as the bar starts printing down as a down bar, then the inflection solver will give us a signal. So we will need to go in and grab a comparison solver so that we can check this distance. Okay. But the confusing part is that, the inflection solver, right? All the solvers are running in real time, but of course, we have this look back at the end, which effectively kind of means that, the bars have to have finished closing to get a proper, to get a final signal out of these AND nodes. So we do need to make a alternate to this inflection solver. I guess that's a good way of putting it, that we need an alternate to this inflection solver in case the reversal bar hasn't finished reversing yet. And so our comparison solver is going to be that alternate. And since we're using an alternate, we also need an OR node. All right, so we can either get a reversal bar, or we can get a almost or close enough reversal bar. So that's what this comparison solver is going to provide for us, is identifying a almost reversal bar. So let's see. So let's set this comparison solver up here. Let's see. So it's going to be, we're comparing the close of 1 bar back to the close of the current bar. So both of our inputs need to be price. All right, so remember what we're setting this comparison solver up to do is to measure this distance here, right? Measure this distance between the two closing prices. All right, so input A, that's going to be the closing price 1 bar back, right? So in other words, that would be that's going to be the closing price, right, of this up bar. And so to get that, we need to set the look back period to 2, like so. And we want the look back processing to just be the single value, right? So we just want the single value of this 1 bar back. And now input B, that's going to be our, that's going to be the closing price of our reversal bar. But again, remember we're checking that price in real time. So that's going to be the closing price of the current bar. So for input B, there's nothing that we need to do. We don't need to make any adjustments. So, and same with our outputs. Our outputs are those are going to be correct as well. But what we do need to do is we need to put in this difference. So we need a difference of, let's see, not 5, but actually 4.9, right? So if we're looking for a price difference of 5 ticks, we actually need to put in a value that's slightly less than 5 ticks, because if you read the outputs, right, if we read the text down here, it says A less than B, but there's no equal sign in that equation, right? It's A less than B, not A less or equal to B. It's A less than B, right? So if we're looking for if we're looking for this distance to equal 5 ticks or more, then because of the way that these output equations are set up, we need to use a value that's slightly less than 5 ticks. Right? So if this price difference is actually 5 ticks, well, 5 ticks is going to be greater than 4.9, and so this statement here, A less than B, is going to be true. So. All right. Yeah. So here's So this basically this little logic here is our workaround to getting a signal, just 1 tick prior to the higher time frame reversal bar from actually reversing. So we can take that OR node, connect it up, and there we go. Yeah, all right, that should do it. So let's see if I can actually do some testing here. So I'm going to have to change my data feed here. So let's switch it over to the simulated. So let's see here. So we need to finish. Not finish, but I need to set this up correctly to receive signals in real time. So there. All right, so there's our logic. Let's close that. Let's go to our chart. And all right, so let me move the chart up Actually, no. Maybe it'll be better if it might take less time if I just try and generate a long signal by bringing the chart back down. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that the system probably generates, it's more likely to generate signals when after a little bit of consolidation, right? So that these Bollinger bands can pull in a little bit, right? Yeah, so maybe kind of create some consolidation here. All right, well, hopefully that TDI indicator is going to cross its lower band. Not sure it's going to do it in time. Let me... Yeah, let's pull the market up here. Shoot, yeah, the bands are expanding too much. All right, yeah, I think maybe I do need to move the market up. So, looks like the Bollinger and the TDI bands are all pulling downward. Price bands, TDI bands. So maybe we can get a signal if I move the market up. Okay, well, with any luck, we'll get both of these breaking the upper band here. Let's see if that'll do it. It's hard to tell if the TDI in the lower time frame, if that TDI is crossed up or not. All right, well, let's see. We should get a signal fairly quickly here. Bingo, and there it is. All right. Yeah, it worked. All right, excellent. All right, now you have to pay really close attention, but this signal did fire off immediately as soon as that reversal bar closed. It fired immediately. All right. Well, that was the emailed in question I had for today.